maybe talk about yellow flags you see in chronic patients that might be different and maybe something maybe outside our remit, or not even something that we think we're comfortable about tackling, because you mentioned it's, you know, it's all kind of ingrained to be a certain way after many years. It's a different sort of beast, isn't it? So if we go back to the kind of subacute going into chronic, and they come to see you, they're really worried, they're not sure about whether to return to work, even though the advice is to return to work. What yellow flags are we talking about? What can you name some the common sort of things that you see, like the fear, or other things? What yellow flags are we talking about?
Okay, so fear of moving, fear of being physical, so fear that doing any activity is going to make it worse. So people who spending all day lying on the couch watching daytime TV because their pain, they think, prevents them from doing anything. People who stopped going out or are trying, and people who are taking particularly the opioid analgesics, so cocodamol particularly, seems to be, the GPs are just giving them out like Smarties at the moment, and some people get on with them okay, and some people don't. Some people get really bad constipation or hate the sort of zombie-like feeling, and other people are all right with that, but often doesn't actually touch their pain anyway, so they're taking sometimes 8 a day. That makes it difficult to function anyway. So a lot of them have a legitimate excuse not to be at work. Another pain thing, another yellow flag would be when their employer is not tolerant of them coming in doing. So what I try and encourage people to do is stay in contact with their employer. Very much, phone them up, give them an update on what they're doing, the treatments they're getting to try and help themselves. But also request light duties or half days. So I sort of say to people, don't expect yourself to be able to go straight from doing nothing to spending a whole day at work, especially when often it's, they say, sitting down hurts it the most or something. So I say, ask if you can do 5 mornings or 5 afternoons. Often the mornings are really difficult for people. So how about if you do 5 afternoons a week, or maybe every other day? And some employers are really good about it. Others obviously can't manage it for whatever reason, the logistics of managing that. But I always try and get people to go back at least, because apart from anything else, if they have a really long break from work, the thought of going back to work and the amount of emails they're going to have to deal with, and having, it becomes a bigger and bigger hump to get over the longer they stay out. So, I say, even if you just go in and check your emails, or ask them if you can work from home and do some stuff from home.
So I'm going to try and move this thing. Is that better? So it's almost like a graded exposure to work again, I guess.
Yeah, and then, and other yellow flags that make me sort of think, ooh, is when it turns out that sometimes it's because of the pain, but sometimes it's this has been going on anyway, and the pain is a sort of expression of it, I think. They have relationship issues. So you very often find that the reason their experience of the pain is so high is that they're actually really deeply stressed about their relationships or their family situation, or sometimes, they're caring for somebody and they're finding it really deeply distressing and stressful. So, in a way, their pain is an expression of that internal distress. And, obviously we're not in a position to help them resolve that, but I always try and get them to like talk to their partners about how they are feeling and how their partner can help them. Obviously half the time that's not going to be possible because their relationship is broken down to the point that they can't, this is their last ditch attempt to get some sympathy or some love or whatever, is not forthcoming. It actually makes the whole problem worse. So, there's things we can help with, there's things that we can't help with. I mean, I think that helping people go to work thing is a good. I also try and encourage people to, if they can't go to work, to go for walks, get some sunshine each day, to spend some time pottering about at home rather than lying down and doing that thing. And in trying to get them to do even some, I give them some exercises to do at home, even though they're not probably necessarily going to make a huge difference to their actual condition. Quite often they don't believe they can do anything.
Yeah.
And so encouraging them to do something that uses their back, off weight bearing, so usually lying down, is a good thing to encourage. Pain management, I also suggest other things if they're really deeply into the whole cocodamol thing, and they say, and it's not even touching it, and sometimes I wake up in the night and I have to have 2 at night as well, so I talk them through all the other options for pain management, like heat and ice and contrast bathing and exercise as a way of taking your mind off it, breathing techniques, and actually quite often I'll refer people to an acupuncturist. I say, if you've ever tried it, some people it works really well for, some people it doesn't. It gives you a little window of pain relief. So all those sort of things.
Do you so you've identified quite a lot of yellow flags, and some social and some more psychological ones. Do you have tools to? Do you have the start back questionnaire? Do you have tools that help you assess the yellow flags, or is it just something you kind of through experience I suppose with that fear avoidance of moving is quite an obvious one, because you can actually see they don't want to say flex forward, but other more subtle ones like I don't know, attitudes towards their pain. Do you use actual resources to help you with that, or not?
No, I don't. I guess I don't really have time, and the clinic's not set up to get people to answer questionnaires in a waiting room sort of thing.
Okay.
I do a pain score. I ask people where they are on their pain.
Yeah.
If people say they're on any sort of antidepressants, I always ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you at the moment? Or how do you feel you're managing your depression and stuff? No, is the answer to that. I don't use formal tools. It's just because a lot of that stuff, like relationship issues, I don't even ask about, I don't say to people, is your relationship good? Because they'll generally say, yeah, it's all right, or no, it's, and I just listen to them talking, basically. It's through chatting.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't come out for, sometimes it's a couple of treatments in that I start to see that the problem is not as straightforward as I thought originally. Sometimes these yellow flags become apparent with time. Yeah,
they kind of unmask like physical symptoms, don't they?
Yeah. Exactly. So no, maybe it would be a good idea to do a more formal assessment, but I don't. So
we maybe haven't found the need at the moment. I mean, if you're managing it in different ways, but so I was wondering whether when you discover that there are these unmasking beliefs, I don't know, emotional contributors or beliefs or psychosocial factors that are contributing to their picture, do you find yourself changing your management in that maybe you have your own goals as a practitioner, in that you're obviously, they want their manual therapy and you've got their hands on them, but have you got an ulterior motive with the patient, in that you need to kind of think, well, I'm only going to be able to help get this patient better if I kind of address these yellow flags, and therefore it's the communication side. Do you then seem to focus more on your message as opposed to your hands-on treatment, or do you still find that the sort of structure of your consultation of week 2, 3 or 4 or 5 of someone who's got yellow flags is the same? Does that make sense?
No, it's definitely different, and I think it also very much is patient dependent. So some patients have been to see lots of other people before you, and so they've got a long string of people who it hasn't worked for. them. And